Hey Sneak Peekers! I'm Margot.
And I'm Gavin.
We're in the home stretch of regular shows for the semester.
Our regular show for today runs the gamut of some hot button releases and rehashing some old entertainment dramas.
You won't want to miss this. Desk, the Super Mario Galaxy movie surpassed Project Hail Mary as this year's highest grossing film, raking in $629 million at the global box office compared to Project Hail Mary's $500 million.
The two films have led to a 2026 domestic box office revenue spike of over $2.1 billion, marking the highest January through April revenue gain since the pandemic.
Aside from the pandemic and the rise of streaming, another contributor to the decreased theater attendance is studio consolidation leading to fewer film releases, the most notable of which being the recent Paramount-Warner Bros. Discovery merger.
This merger has received serious backlash from many notable figures in Hollywood. Over 1,000 Hollywood stars and creatives issued an open letter on Monday published by the New York Times opposing the pending acquisition.
The letter states, "We are deeply concerned by indications of support for this merger that prioritize the interests of a small group of powerful stakeholders over the broader public good." The full letter, along with the names that signed it, can be read on blockthemerger.com.
Paramount's guidance issued a long response on Monday, an excerpt from which says, "We understand the concerns raised as a result of the disruptions caused to our industry by COVID, entry of big tech, and changes in consumer behavior. But we promise this, Paramount remains deeply committed to talent, and this merger strengthens both consumer choice and competition."
The overwhelming resistance from A-list stars raises questions about the future of the acquisition, which remains under review by the Justice Department for potential antitrust violations.
In other news, live from London, it's Saturday night.
It's Tuesday and we're in Austin.
Saturday Night Live UK is officially in its first season. The inaugural episode aired on March 21st, hosted by Tina Fey and featuring musical guest Wet Leg.
The show, much like the American version, is executive produced by Lorne Michaels, and it follows a similar format with cold open political sketches, the Weekend Update desk, and a mix of both live and pre-recorded sketches.
Earlier this week, the show announced their upcoming hosts and musical guests for their first season. Bridgerton's Nicola Coughlan will host on April 25th alongside SNL veteran musical guests The Foo Fighters, and White Lotus's Amy Lou Wood is set to host on May 5th with musical guest British singer-songwriter Meek.
The cast is comprised of up-and-coming comedians and actors rather than well-known names. The first few episodes were fairly well received by both Americans and British fans. The show is available to watch on Peacock in the United States.
For this week's movie recommendation, I suggest watching Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie.
Oh, I love Nirvana the Band.
Well, it has absolutely nothing to do with Nirvana the Band.
Okay. Then what is it about?
Nirvana the Band, the band.
Right, yeah.
Creators Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll play fictionalized versions of themselves in this mockumentary that follows the pair as they attempt to book a gig for their band, Nirvana the Band, only to end up accidentally time-traveling back to 2008.
Some of our staff members, Gavin and Margot, hey, that's us, say there's nothing else quite like it by a long shot. If you got $15 lying around, which is a lot for a rental, but we promise it is worth your time. Hey, Gavin, can we talk real quick? My best friend and I got to talking last night, and he said something that really unnerved me, like deep to my core levels of discomfort.
Sure, but I don't know if we should be talking about that in front of cameras.
It's fine. They'd let us know if we were on air.
Sure, but...
Well, I asked his girlfriend asked him what the worst thing he's ever done was.
And what did he say?
He said, I guess it'd be me saying that I really liked the drama.
Ooh. Well, how about we discuss escape plans for your friend's girlfriend while we get around to Sneak Peek's review of the drama?
Thank you. I knew you'd understand.
What's up, Sneak Peekers? It's Rosie. If, for whatever reason, you were to ask where I was on the night of April 2nd, I would say I was sitting in a theater alongside fellow Sneak Peeker Brooke, watching Christopher Burglue's like the drama. If you were to ask where I was on the night of April 3rd, well, that's none of your business. In the film, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson play Emma and Charlie, an engaged couple, during the week leading up to their marriage. The two embark on the typical premarital procedures, rehearsing their first dance, selecting their catering menu, and asking each other what the worst thing they've ever done was. Well, that one's typical according to Alana Haim's character, Rachel. But we don't really like Rachel. Anyway, a splurge of too much Chardonnay leads Emma to confess a certain happening from her past, permeating the blissful love which Charlie had never questioned until now. I won't spoil this happening, but it is shocking and divisive among both viewers of the film and characters within the film, thus the title, The Drama. Yet, I'm not quite sure if this twist should be the source of such drama. After all, this is coming from a Norwegian writer-director who sees the inner workings of American politics from a European perspective, making this occurrence, in my opinion, easier to sensationalize for a film. Borgley asks the audience how far love goes and if the events in our past stay in our present selves. This turmoil is explored through Charlie, who bumbles his way around, whilst Emma continuously requests a do-over. His character carried the key comedic aspects of the film, yet as I found myself enjoying his mishaps, my uneasiness from that thing led me to question the ethics of turning such an event into entertainment and a plot point. My inner controversy feeds into what I think Borgley wants the viewer to experience, yet the overriding problem arises from the fact that the ending was too sterile, thus glossing over the deeper implications of the story and its themes as a whole. As I'm familiar with the works of Joachim Trier and Lars von Trier, I can conclude that Borgley's style was distinctly Scandinavian. This overall aesthetic makes Cambridge, Massachusetts look like Cambridge, England, Europeanizing all aspects from cafes to costumes. Rest assured, it was pleasant to watch. A noteworthy element of this piece, compared to the aesthetic as a whole, was the more attention-grabbing editing. Scandinavian works tend to use choppier editing techniques, such as jump cuts, to get to the point, but here, Borgley uses it to put emphasis on individual characters' streams of consciousness. I really appreciate these sorts of qualities in film, as it utilizes the medium to its best extent in order to promote a logical organization of the story and how its characters exist within it. As I often proclaim in these sorts of things, I was disappointed in the lack of a thematic follow-through. Yet, what can you expect from a film for the masses? Discourse and controversy mean tickets sold despite what you may have gained after exiting the theater. So, what did I gain? Well, first of all, I have deepened my love for a walkable city. Second, Robert Pattinson should play lanky, awkward guys more often. Finally, in a country where certain tragedies pervade the undertones of our daily lives, it's best to avoid dramatizing them, even if it's Zendaya. But what are your thoughts? Make sure to let us know at Sneak Peek TV on our socials. That's all from me. We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, finals are coming up. What's the damage looking like for you?
Oh, dude, I'm swamped. I've been cramming for exams, drug tests, and playing catch up for that new season of Euphoria. Man, 21st century living is hard.
Well, we're glad you took time out of your busy schedule to come back over here.
That's the Sam Levinson level of gratitude right there.
Well, with the new season coming out, I guess it's time to see if these talented, acclaimed actors, and Sydney Sweeney, ease back into the groove of things under the tactful hand of Sam Levinson for Euphoria's third go-around.
Let him have it, sneak peekers.
4 years have gone by, but we finally have a new season of Euphoria. And this time we're getting a new look and feel. This season has been a long time in the making. Sam Levinson, Euphoria's controversial writer and creator, wrote the majority of season 3 before the Hollywood strike in 2023. But he ended up scrapping most of those plans, partially due to the passing of actor Angus Cloud, rest in peace, as his character was rumored to be heavily featured. Then, in 2025, they finally went into production, and the first episode was released this past Sunday on both HBO and Coachella. I wish I could have been there to see it. And now, to address the elephant in the room, though there are a couple, Labyrinth has pulled all of his music from this season due to alleged unfair and poor treatment by his record label and the show itself. In his place, Hans Zimmer has taken over as the main composer for this season, a man who has worked on over 150 film soundtracks over his career. So although I will mourn the distinctive sound that Labyrinth has brought to the show, I am excited to see what Zimmer brings to this season. Now, in the first episode, the biggest change in comparison to the previous seasons, at least thus far, is the aesthetic. It seems we've left behind the glitter and the purple for a more Western look and feel. This change in the look reminds the audience that we're not picking up right where these characters left off. Now we're in their adulthood, especially with Maddie and Lexi. It's clear they both left that high school behind for life in the entertainment industry. Lexi is working on a late-night soap opera show, and Maddie is working in talent management. However, if we don't get any glitter this season, I will be a little bit devastated. It feels like that aesthetic has just become synonymous with Euphoria as a whole. Now, we do see a lot of Rue in the first episode, and with the other characters, we just get a little snippet of what their adulthood looks like. This makes sense for the show, as the main character and narrator is, of course, Rue, and it feels like we need to get a strong foundational sense of where she is, just with her life before we move on to these other characters. This is a similar pattern that was sort of established in previous seasons. One thing that is not super obvious in this first episode is the state of her sobriety, but I'm sure where she is with her battle with addiction will become clear as we continue on. Besides Lexi and Rue, who do hang out in this first episode, it's not really clear where all the high school friendships stand. We do find out that Nate and Cassie are in fact planning their wedding, and from the trailer we know it will be the focus of a future episode. Oh, how far season 1 Cassie has fallen. And it does seem that conveniently, somehow all of our main characters have ended up in Los Angeles. But regardless, I am really looking forward to seeing how all the characters feel about each other 5 years later. Especially Maddie and Cassie. And of course, Jules and Rue. Once again, if you disagree with us, let us know your thoughts at Sneak Peek TV on social media.
You know, I'm glad we can keep beating that dead one-trick pony.
Sneak Peekers, if you were worried that this very relationship-heavy episode would waver in its anti-relationship propaganda, rest easy, because it's time to discuss contractual relationships, of which we are a part of one.
From giving us some of the most awkward points in film promotional circuits to giving us some of the best pop music in recent memory, this is the world where the only courting happening is courtroom settlements between managers and studios.
Go on, lovebirds. Give us nothing.
What's up, Sneak Peekers? It's Rosie. We're here to talk about something that isn't so obvious, but kind of is always on social media.
Can't escape it.
PR relationships. What are they? Who are they? We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Who am I with?
Bridget.
Carol. Let's dive in. All right. We have a first couple that we want to discuss.
Wait, Bridget, you had a original prompt for this segment, which was
Well, yes. So, the drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've had their whole, publicity run, and people have been praising Zendaya and Robert Pattinson because they're like, oh, they didn't fake act like they're in a relationship, like some people. Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, yeah.
So they were like, oh, they're actually being respectful of their significant others.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not being, like, physical.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, like, Robert Pattinson has a kid and Zendaya's married, so they can't really.
Yeah. And Robert Pattinson did a similar run with Jennifer Lawrence for That I Love. If you guys were there last year, it was really fun. When they did the lie detector test, I like that. So I guess it's like
I feel like they have a brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, the Robert Pattinson charm. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the case because, as we already brought up, we're talking about Sydney Sweeney for the second time this episode. Whoa, fun.
We always talk about her on this
but
show.
it
It's
was
just the gift that keeps giving.
But her with our very own Glenn Powell, whenever that happened, I feel like people talked more about them than the movie itself.
Yeah.
Which was maybe to hide the quality of the movie. But
That's how I heard of the movie. It was people talking about their
that's how I also that's how
That's
I met
why I
Sydney
didn't want to
Sweeney,
watch
because
the
I
movie.
didn't watch Euphoria, and that was the first time that I heard of her. So it was weird. And because they were also in relationships at the time, maybe not him, but she definitely was. There was something about that.
Yeah, she was engaged.
Oh, she was
Oh my gosh,
engaged.
yeah.
And then she only broke up her engagement like way later.
Yeah.
I remember, like, because she had to like come out publicly at point and say like, "Oh no, we're fine." And then like
And then
a
she
year
started.
later, that
super
was
marketing herself as being like,
that
I'm
was-
available.
oh yeah, that. And then like
Now she's dating some weird guy.
did you see that? Did you
No,
see that?
who is she
No.
dating now?
Someone.
This guy named Scooter.
Oh my, wait, I do know about this.
I don't know who Scooter is. I don't know what
he's
does.
the guy who allegedly screwed over Taylor Swift
Oh.
with her
Allegedly.
record label.
That's what I thought. I thought he was in
Yeah.
music.
Scooter Braun.
But also, he lost like all of his clients. Well, we're not gonna talk about Scooter Braun right now, but other relationships that we
Well,
can think
yeah.
of.
We have some hotties.
We are
some hot
talking
hotties
about
in the
beauty gap
relationship
relationship.
spectrum. Beauty
Because
gap.
beauty gap relationship
you
is
have
usually PR.
Some shorties that you want
Yes.
to talk
Yeah,
about.
we never understood really the timing of Sabrina and Barry. I feel like she was starting like to really like blow up, and then all of a sudden she's dating that man.
Well, I think they both had their blow ups
They're blow ups at the same
at
time.
the same time ish, because he was doing Saltburn.
it did feel very strategically timed.
He was doing Saltburn. He was doing
Yeah.
something else, and then he gets cast for the Beatles.
And then he
Which
gets,
is crazy.
And then he gets cast in the music video of the song that's for him,
Yeah.
which was definitely weird.
That was clearly very well planned too, because all the girlies in the comments were like, "Oh, I understand why they're together now." I was like,
Which
What
like
are you
no.
seeing?
Yeah,
Like-
and then they got a whole bunch of Sabrina fans to say that Barry Keoghan was really hot.
That was weird.
"Fake
But
news."
yeah, we need to just
PR.
Oh yeah. Any last couples that we gotta bring up?
I thought the like Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi thing.
Oh,
in
the press
Wuthering
was
Heights
weird.
a little bit weird. Like they didn't play it up too much, but it was like enough where it was like.
And
I just think it's
You know.
weird because they're from two generations of actors. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but Margot Robbie, she's like in this a different.
Like she was doing movies.
She's
with
not in
Leo.
Sydney Sweeney's generation now. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was. In,
And Jacob, we were
Leo.
just talking about Joey King. Like that's his age group.
Exactly.
He should be with the kids, and Margot's a little more veteran.
And she's
you know?
married.
Oh yeah, that's
And
that's
her husband
true.
was a producer on the film.
So I
Also
think
that
I think that's always a good indicator. If they're in a relationship with other people and married, that's probably PR.
cutest
So,
PR
yeah.
relationship.
Thank you guys so much for joining
Holland,
us. We'll be
Zendaya.
back after the break.
Dude, did you see that Abby Lee Miller is going to be at UT next week?
Tickets! Where? Need?
You're sick. You are a sick individual. She's not actually coming to UT, but your reaction tells me that you need some serious help.
Dance Moms premiered in 2011. I was born in it, molded by it.
Well, that's almost 15 years since we first learned of the Abby Lee Dance Company. And I'm wondering how those girls are doing now.
Well, lucky for us then, we have some sneak peekers that are dying to show their findings.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Frankie. How are you?
I'm Frankie. I'm the new addition to this
It's
panel.
the exact same people with Frankie now.
Frankie. We're here to talk about Dance Moms, one of my favorite. Well, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite show. One of my favorite shows that I really love.
Because it has to compete with Law and Order. And that's
Yeah, it has to compete with Law and Order SVU, but sometimes Dance Moms just takes the cake. Sometimes
Crazy combo.
sometimes I just want a really good laugh, and
It's-
sometimes I just want to hear someone screaming in my ear.
That on repeat. And they're always screaming. That's a good point. That's a good place to start, I feel. Because the point of this panel was to do like where are they now kind of thing. And
I didn't get
you
the
as
memo.
someone who saw Melissa, was she loud? Yeah. Melissa was in Austin. Melissa was in Austin last month for South by.
Very exciting.
And we were also in Austin last month for South by, and Frankie got to see her.
I did. I saw her, and then Maddie passed right behind me, and I was so starstruck because I saw her when she was like that, and now she's like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it was crazy.
Are they our age? Or older?
They're a little
Mackenzie is
older.
like our age.
Okay.
Mackenzie.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure we're the same age. No, we're the same age, Bridget. It's fine.
I don't think that's true.
Bridget's like, I think she's 23, Bridget.
Oh,
I'm
on live
But
television.
anyways.
Okay.
we don't need to discuss my
but I feel like
elderliness.
Oh, there's no
but
elderly. No
the
elderly
seniority in sneak peek. But what I think is that like there's like success gaps in the Dance Moms cast. Like we have Maddie premiering her movie that she's the lead on at the Parent Theater, which is the biggest venue at South by, and then there's like the other girls.
Exactly.
And
Everyone
I mean,
else.
like,
No. I
Don't
do.
diss JoJo like
Besides
that.
JoJo, yeah.
So
JoJo was like, okay, JoJo kind of like threw her career away.
JoJo was on the Great British Bake Off Stand Up to Cancer special last spring.
JoJo's had an insane character arc. Okay.
I do have to interject because Cameron, from the later season,
Oh, yeah,
she's
that's right.
very, very successful. She danced in the Super Bowl, not Bad Bunny Super Bowl.
Wait, so
the
she
preview.
actually still dances and is a
She's-
dancer.
Yes,
And a lot of them
Wow.
still dance. Like Maddie's movie is dance themed. A lot of her roles are dance themed. I feel like
But like
she's the
she's
only.
dancer slash.
But also, she was in the Spielberg West Side Story, which is kind of like as successful as you can
Maddie?
be.
I think
Maddie.
most
She was one of the ensemble
Oh.
dancers.
most of them aren't successful dancers, but they are successful.
Ish.
They're
I
very.
mean, they all went to college. They're all college educated, and I think that's like something that we have.
JoJo
part of
isn't.
Success.
Oh yeah,
JoJo
but that
isn't.
checks off.
Neither is Mackenzie or Maddie.
Well, JoJo was busy building a brand.
But like,
That's true.
but Nia went to college.
Businesswoman.
Nia went to college. Kendall, Chloe.
Kendall went to college where?
I'm
I'm sorry, I'm not.
I think it was SMU or something like that. Some disdain for SMU, y'all.
Go to
But
SMU. We
that's
love
what I-
SMU here.
That's kind of how I thought.
I
like,
think it was SMU.
I don't know. We need to like. Is Dance Moms a good way to start your career? Because it works
No.
for JoJo.
Why would you ask that?
But like a lot of people are
Absolutely
being
not.
famous for being wives now.
But-
Like Kalani had her whole like bride stuff. Did you
Yeah.
see that?
See, but the thing you have to think about it. Do you want to go through all that childhood trauma in order to be successful?
Yeah.
No, no.
That's like every child actor ever.
But
Well,
that was like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Exactly.
any.
I feel like Dance
being-
Moms was the last true like. Those children were damaged when they were on TV when they were younger. You know.
I think that was one of the last generations of that. I feel
Because
like
now
after
they're
that
so,
they were
like,
What happened
Now
to that? We need to bring that back.
Now they're on YouTube on family vlogs.
True.
Yeah.
Wait.
Now
That's
they're on
facts.
YouTube, but like they were there in
Children-
cable television.
Children are no longer being exposed on cable. It's now
I
on
don't
What happened
even
to
know if
that?
it's cable.
Yeah, it was cable.
It is cable.
It is
Lifetime
cable because I didn't
Lifetime.
have access. I had to watch
But
clips.
how I was feeling
On
like
YouTube.
like 5-minute clips, and it was like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then they would
Yeah,
just never finish.
But it was only like the same 3 clips.
Yeah, and I would eat it up
But
every
do you
time.
So
remember
the percentage of the show I've watched is
when
quite slim.
JoJo was like out there in carpets doing that thing? I don't know the dance.
Oh, Karma?
Yeah, that one. That one.
Are you sneezing?
That's Karma. Do
I
you
know.
how to
No, I
Karma?
know. I know.
She was the first of her generation to make this kind of change. She
Yeah, and it was
invented-
very
what did she invent?
abrupt.
Gay pop.
Gay pop.
Gay
Gay
pop.
Gay
pop.
pop. Now
She's
she's
like a
dating a
drag
man.
wife now.
Whatever
Trad wife.
happened? Remember she sang Betty Davis eyes?
Yes.
Oh, that was so
so
dumb. That was so bad.
But she was on Big Brother.
Because
Yeah.
that's how she met
That's how
her.
she met
That's why she met her man.
She was also on Dancing with the Stars, the first
She was
same-sex
on
couple
Big
to be
Brother,
Dancing on the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, The Great British Bake Off. That girl,
She's like
made
doing
it.
all of the realities because she is in all of them.
she had her face on a Tesla.
She did that herself. That doesn't count.
I know, but that's a sign of
Which
success.
which
if
kind
you
of
can
like
do
is
that.
on brand with her brand right now, being in the Tesla.
Would you guys have your face on a Tesla?
Personally, no.
I think that any good dance moms
10 years ago.
we can separate members of dance moms with they would have their face on a Tesla and dance moms members who would not.
That's a good-
Kendall would.
Kendall would.
Yeah, I think
Kendall
that Kendall
would.
would personally.
Kendall.
I think
Yeah.
Kalani would too. I think
Oh,
I didn't think JoJo, but JoJo, yeah.
You didn't
But
think?
But Nia wouldn't.
Oh, he's big.
I don't
She's
think Maddie
big,
would.
Nia's big on TikTok, right? Doesn't
Kendall?
she? TikTok.
She had a
no,
book.
Nia.
She just published a book.
And
She came
went
to Austin too. She came to Austin.
And she went to UCLA, so that's like
She went to
smart.
UCLA.
Oh, yeah.
She's smart. She's not
Yeah.
like
But
going to
honestly,
fake
you have to
universities.
question the famous people going to those schools because the schools kind of want that.
Well, I mean, passing the class is also.
Yeah, she
Not
graduated.
I forgot about
You
that.
kind of have to pass classes to
Yeah,
graduate
yeah,
too,
yeah.
Mama.
Just think
And she
about, like,
didn't
getting
have
in.
like athlete anything. She was
Yeah.
just making her living, and like none of
Writing
the
her
other
book.
girls went to UCLA. So I think that like she started from the same thing.
SMU
and
is
she's
like the
still-
UCLA of the South, basically.
I think it could not be SMU, guys.
It could also not be.
It could. It's.
being
I know.
shaded
I know.
towards
I know.
Kendall.
It's purple and gold, and it's not LSU.
Oh,
Purple
SMU is
and-
not
but-
purple.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not?
TCU is purple.
It might be TCU.
Wait, I feel like
It's not
I feel
TCU.
like she went to LSU.
She didn't go to LSU.
Kendall?
Yeah.
No, I feel like no, but that sounds right though.
I would imagine her
LSU
being at
adjacent.
LSU.
I think either
One
way.
of those, yeah, definitely one of
Because
those.
I can imagine like, oh, Mardi Gras.
And then like there's the other girls that went to just they had like guest appearances in dance moms.
Okay.
Like
Peyton,
where are they?
Asia,
Peyton,
Sarah.
Asia, Sarah. Like what happened to them?
Peyton just had a baby.
Okay, I didn't know
Peyton
that.
just had a baby. Asia is very successful in her music career. Sarah is a conservative right winger.
Which happens in the
More
dance
often
moms
than
house.
not.
Statistically speaking,
Look
But-
at the
It makes
moms,
sense.
Like,
Look at
But
the
the
moms.
moms, they have like their own little shows. I feel like the moms are definitely like making their living.
Wait,
like
last thing, we need to identify which dance moms we are. Go. Speed round.
who I identify
Yeah,
with.
mom is?
speed round.
Which the mom?
Okay,
oh,
okay.
girl, I don't know
You
the
don't know
moms.
her like
Okay.
that.
I just know JoJo.
Okay, we love you guys. Thank you, Sneak Peek, for thank you, Sneak Peekers. We love you. Bye.
Wait, when Lachlan said